Welcome back to It's All Geek to Me, a podcast where two geeks lived in harmony, but then everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. This is not related to Spirited Away, but obviously the podcast is called It's All Geek to Me. I think you're a geek.
Thank you.
I feel like actually now that I'm saying this, these words taste a little familiar. I consider myself a nerd.
Okay, what is the difference?
Okay, so this is just my interpretation. I don't know if this is correct.
No, this is fact. Everybody take this for fact.
Write this down.
Write this down.
So I feel like a geek is someone who is into stereotypically geeky things like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, comics, that kind of stuff. I feel like a nerd is someone who's like nerdy in like school. Like I keep on joking in this podcast that I'm a bad student. I was actually a very good student.
I mean, then I was a nerd too.
Like I feel like I'm like nerdy about not like science specifically, but like math things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider myself to be geek because obviously, as we've learned from this podcast, I haven't watched any of this.
Well, that was why we started the podcast, so that you could watch more.
But I do think that I appreciate nerdy things. Like I feel like that's why I'm very into like science fiction fantasy.
Yeah, science fiction is big. We talk about multiple universes all the time and different timelines.
We're in
and
a simulation.
The Matrix, things like that.
We're going to talk about that in our next episode.
Matrix. Yeah, spoiler.
No, I was going to say dimensions because I have thoughts on dimensions.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen The Matrix. I know you said it might not be about dimensions.
Shall we tell everyone though? Now that we've talked about it. It is the next movie that we're doing.
The next movie is
We've only talked about it
a million times.
So I think it's time that Kelly gets
But anyway, today we're actually talking about Spirited Away because you finally finished watching it.
And now I've seen Spirited Away.
What did you think? Well,
and
actually,
Kelly's the expert.
And I'm the expert. I want to ask you what you thought of it, but let's go through what happens in the second half of the film. And then I have questions for you to answer.
I love questions. Yeah, so we got back second half of the film around the hour and 14 mark. No Face is evil still, potentially.
Super.
And I'm like, was this? He's just like eating everybody up, but he's got all this gold.
And he's getting huge and nasty looking.
I was convinced that the gold was fake. I do think the gold was real, but it wasn't real?
No, there's like, it's actually, I don't know, kind of a fake out.
Okay.
So like at one point, which we'll get to, Yubaba is like looking at it and she's like, no, it's definitely real. But then she realizes something else was trickery afoot.
Okay.
But then when she starts screaming and searching for her babies, one of the little frog guy is like, oh, it's just dirt.
Okay, yeah, so I was right about that. I had a feeling it wasn't real. So it goes back to the 7 deadly sins thing I was saying last week.
Agreed.
This was definitely a greed thing. She passed the test.
Yeah, Chihiro is not interested
Chihiro did
in
not
gold.
take the money.
Because she wants to save Haku. She's in a hurry.
Yeah, she's trying to save Haku, but also she's just
when you're
good.
a kid, I feel like money does not matter as much. Like when you're a kid, oh man, I don't know about you. One time I earned $5 doing, I don't even remember what it was. It was like, you do remember they used to do those surveys at the mall?
Oh yeah, I do those all the time. Used to, not anymore.
I was going to say they still
Every
have
week.
them. But I remember when I was a kid, I earned $5 from it. I was so excited. I spent months deciding
it
felt like months.
Your
it was probably
$5
like a
on.
week. I was excited. I waited, and then I ended up buying this like little toy ferret.
Of course,
it's actually no. It's like
she
very
still has
specific.
it.
I don't know if anybody remembers this ferret that had it was like attached to a little ball.
Yeah,
I wanted one so bad. Every time we passed
Kelly, are those not dog toys?
No. No.
Imagine Kelly. I'm picturing you like running on all fours, like after this ferret toy.
That can't be right. I have to look this up. No way.
Kelly bought a $5 dog toy, and it's her favorite toy. She chews on it too.
Oh, the price has gone up.
How much?
Well, now they're $10. This is not. It's this.
Okay, it's not a dog toy.
It's like a little.
I mean, I feel like it's like
it could.
Like,
it's a dog
kids are kind of
toy.
like dogs a little bit.
No, because in front of KB Toys, they would actually set up like a little dog pen, and they would have the little ferrets like rolling around on the ball. It was
with the dogs.
Incredible. No,
in a dog pen.
But I would always be like, oh, I want one so bad, and I was never allowed to have one. And then when I earned my $5, I was like,
I did one of those surveys once for hair product. I got $80.
$80. I would do that for $80. I would honestly probably do that for $5 now.
For free hair products?
Realistically, that's like a coffee.
They were good hair products too, and I never found out what it was. And it was so frustrating because I've got curly hair when it's long. This was when I was in high school and I had no idea. Curly hair is really difficult to manage, and the product was incredible.
You didn't know?
What?
I had curly hair too.
I'm like telling Kelly's hair is like literally the same texture as mine.
You would not know.
Straightens it every day. Have you ever heard of curly hair? But yes, you have.
No, what is that?
It was the best hair product I'd ever used in my life, but I couldn't know what it was. They couldn't tell you. Even at the end, they wouldn't tell you what it was because you're testing it to see and giving your reaction on it. But if you knew the brand, it might influence you.
Yeah.
And
they never told you in the end?
Never told me.
Wow. You
Yeah.
know, I've always wanted to be in one of the things where it's like, oh, 50% of people felt like they had better sleep.
Yeah.
I want to be one of those people.
My sister did one of those it was something with, she had to wear a mask and was like running on a treadmill or something like that. I don't know what it was, but she did one of those tests.
That's cool.
Yeah. I would do the one where they're like, be in bed for 3 years and see what happens.
That would be fun.
I actually think I would go so stir crazy by the end of that. You'd love it.
I love
You
to
and
do
Ryan
nothing.
just like in bed for 3 years getting paid.
That's our dream.
Yeah.
Dream job. If anybody has that job and wants to refer me and Ryan, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But back to Spirited Away. Yubaba says something about No Face. She says he is a no face.
I didn't catch that.
No Face, I will say, throughout this entire second section, was a very confusing character
Yeah.
to me. I decided he is good.
I would say he's neutral because like he clearly has the capability of being very evil, and when given the opportunity,
But he also
does
didn't
it.
kill anybody. He
Yeah.
ate people, but he spit him back
barfed them
up.
back
So
up.
you were fine in the end, Kelly.
Yeah,
Frog
that's
Kelly.
true. I did survive it. We determined that I am a frog. Just a little frog. By the way, we didn't mention this in the last episode, but when the frog was like coming up to him and the guy was holding up gold, No Face, the guy,
The guy.
he was like, are you giving this to me? And I was just like, that's something I would so say.
Yeah, you're definitely that frog. So I'm glad that you survived. You got to keep working at the
Yeah.
bathhouse.
Yeah, I get spit out onto the train tracks. But yeah, so No Face being pretty evil, and everyone's kind of loving it.
Yeah, they're not like realizing how evil he is, which is again the seven deadly sins thing.
Until Chihiro turns him away, and then he gets really upset.
Yeah.
And that's when he starts really
Being
eating
like
people.
super, super
Yeah,
evil.
and then everyone's freaking out.
But everyone just loved the money so much they didn't
Yeah.
even think
They were
about
blinded by their
blinded by their greed.
greed.
So we have a couple sins.
But Chihiro, she's running for Haku.
Yeah.
the
And
dealio
this
with
was
him?
crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because Yubaba is like, he's probably going to die soon anyway.
Yeah,
and I'm
get rid
like,
of him.
are you kidding me?
Yeah, that was very
Are
evil
you
of her.
kidding me? He literally is your henchman. He's doing all these evil things in service of you. Because
Yeah.
in this section, we find out why Haku was helping her, that he was under some sort of spell. But as soon as he's about to die,
She's like,
she doesn't even
I
care.
don't care. Yeah.
Which solidifies.
They're about to like push him out the trash chute kind of situation.
Which solidifies that she is evil.
But then we get introduced to the character I've been very excited for. I don't like this character.
Yeah.
The voice actor, though.
The baby
Yeah.
did not. That's the famous person.
Very. In fact, you're going to scream.
I'm going to scream. Tell
Finally,
me.
I have a fun fact. So you knew who Thackeray Banks and Samara were?
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Not Samara, Lilo.
Okay, so we meet the baby,
Yeah, the baby.
who is Tara Strong.
Oh my God. I love Tara
I'm
Strong.
shocked that you didn't know that.
Wait, Tara Strong was one of my gay awakenings. Not Tara Strong, but a character that she voices.
She's
I mean, she's literally like every character.
Ember McLean from Danny Phantom.
Oh, Jesus. Wow.
You didn't know that?
I know she's Bubbles.
Yeah.
From Powerpuff Girls. But the character I'm thinking of was from a video
Lil.
game.
Rugrats.
Oh, yeah. It was Riku from Final Fantasy X.
Oh.
Yep, means nothing to you.
It's nothing to me. But yeah, no, Tara Strong's
I
everybody.
love Tara
She's also
Strong.
Timmy Turner. She's one of your Teen Titans too, but I don't know which one.
Raven, she might be. Yeah, possibly. I mean,
never
she's
saw it.
literally everything.
You're the geek here. I'm just a nerd.
Oh, you want to know a little fun fact though? So my voice acting
I
coach.
call you a geek. I'm wearing this.
You're literally a
Gudetama shirt.
Gudetama. So my voiceover coach, her name is Anna Garduno. She voiced a character in the video game Jack and Daxter. She originated this character, but then she couldn't do the whole series. There was some conflict. She couldn't do the rest of it. Tara Strong took over for her.
Wow.
And people liked Anna's voice as this character better. I mean, I love my
Yeah.
voice acting coach. She helped me start my career, so she's
Yeah.
incredible. And
Do you know who my favorite voice actor is?
Who?
Leah Boyce.
oh my God, who's that?
Oh, she's in like Five Nights at
Tell me.
Freddy's.
Keep talking.
She was therapist number 4.
Also recently did a Checkers and Rallies commercial. Hair
That's
flip.
cool.
I know. It
What
was pretty
hair?
cool. Oh, I still do hair flip, and it's embarrassing because there's no hair there.
I just want to say if there's any farting noises, it's because I'm not
It's
wearing
because
socks.
Kelly's been farting.
It's because wait.
It smells so bad in here.
Do you remember
Can you
the
stop
first
farting?
episode when I just randomly
Yeah.
let the intrusive thoughts win? I'm so much better at fake farting than you.
Yeah, no.
That was just the most random. Like I was just like I have to.
That
do
was
this.
very strange. I did not understand
Don't
why.
you ever just like suddenly have these thoughts and you're like I have to do this?
I have to do this. Yeah,
Yeah.
intrusive thoughts. I actually just watched a great movie that I keep defining as when
Spirited
you
Away.
don't let the intrusive thoughts win and you make
what
great
is it?
art. Faceless After Dark, my friend Jenna Cannell from Terrifier You have to watch it. It's amazing.
Okay.
Also, for everyone, huge recommendation to watch Faceless After Dark.
Oh.
No, just watch the movie. It's very good.
You know what movie we should talk about?
Spirited Away.
You know what? I was singing right before we
And
started,
I told her to
and
stop.
you told
I was
me
like,
to stop.
Can you stop doing that, please?
Yeah, as if my singing voice isn't stunning. It's not. I
It's
know.
not. Well, back to Spirited Away, we
Tell
meet a villain, potentially. Well, at this moment, I thought she was a villain. Zeniba. Not a villain.
Zeniba, yeah.
Not a villain.
Very confusing character.
Yeah.
Very confusing. She's so mean to the baby.
I would be too.
I mean, yeah, you would be.
I would be. I hated the baby. My note says, I did not like the baby.
I didn't like the baby because he was very spoiled, but when he gets turned into a little mouse,
I liked him better as a mouse.
he was cute.
Is that character in anything else?
I don't know. I haven't seen that many Studio Ghibli films.
Okay. Because the mouse and the bird looked
little bird
so
looked
familiar to me.
Yeah.
But again, it could just be from going to conventions and stuff.
That's fair.
But yeah, a lot of this was really confusing. Like back to the paper birds, I didn't really like get their significance.
Yeah. Well, so what happens is that Haku stole, you just completely wiped off your wing.
I forgot I was wearing makeup. It's fine. It's away from the camera. You can't see it.
I'm just watching you like fully wipe that off of your face.
I don't even know what I was doing.
You're like, whoop. That's talking about intrusive thoughts.
Well, they can't see it, so it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Well, we might take a break to fix it because it's a tiny bit smudged. Oh,
Did I make it worse?
you made
Now you
it
can
20
see it.
times worse.
I was just trying to fully get rid of it. Oh no. Let me look now.
Now it looks crazy.
Oh my God.
I'm crying. No, you just wiped off like the little tip, and I was just like, all right, I'll just mention it. But then you really just yanked it to the side. Okay, it looks good now.
It's better.
Yeah,
It's a little messed up, but it's
better. So Haku stole her gold seal.
right.
And what that had, it had a curse on it that prevented people from taking it, and also if they did take it, they were gonna die.
And the birds
I think
went
the birds
after
were a
him.
part. So as we learned a little bit later, that little slug that we thought was the curse was Haku's curse from Yubaba.
Yes.
I think that the paper birds were the curse that were going to kill him, but then we also found out that love.
Love saves the day.
Yeah. Oh, so you get to sing whenever you want. I see how it is. It's fine.
Yeah, this whole section was confusing with the birds, with the curse, all of that stuff, with Zeniba,
It
with
was
the
probably
baby.
a weird time to cut at that moment because I think it kind of was in the middle of explaining what was happening there.
Yeah, but we left on like a tension moment.
Yeah,
of,
I just
like,
wanted
what's
you to
happening
wonder
with
if Haku was going to live, but obviously we knew.
There was a lot in this section I wouldn't have guessed. I didn't think we were going to go to like an old granny's cottage, which I loved, by the way. I
Yeah.
would like live in that house that Zeniba lives in.
So maybe you're no face.
Maybe I am no face.
Sometimes you are.
I have no face.
No.
Oh, questionably moral? Yeah.
Sometimes you use your powers for evil.
Yeah, I do.
But most of the time I would say you use them
For good. Yeah. I'm
so
a
you
cha-
could
I
be-
feel like I'm a chaotic good, chaotic neutral kind of soul.
Yeah.
Which I think
I'm
no
chaotic
face.
neutral,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I really thought I would be chaotic good, but it turns out I'm not.
You're
you know what
definitely
Ryan
neutral.
is? You were with
True
us when
neutral.
we did it. Yeah.
Yeah, true neutral.
He's a true neutral.
Yeah, he's just like, it's all good to me.
Yeah, does not care.
I don't care.
He's right here.
He's very short today.
Yeah.
Hello, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. Ryan is real, by the way. So anyway, so what happens next? So Zeniba, being very mean to the baby, turns him into a little thing, but then Haku kind of lashes out at her.
And slits her in half with the... So I guess she was sort of a vision. She wasn't really there.
She wasn't the
She
real
was just
deal.
a vision. Okay, but that was another thing I was confused about. Because then when they get back to Zeniba's cottage, Chihiro's like, turn them back. And she's like, oh, that spell's been worn off a while. Like,
Yeah.
so what was their true form? The mouse and the bird that was their...
No, the spell wore off, but they chose to stay in that form. So I think we get them, like, they can choose at will now.
Okay.
To be if they want
what they
to.
want to be. Okay. Because the baby
Which is
turns back
weird.
to baby at the end.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
rather be mouse, not baby.
I thought that they were going to stay forever,
Yeah.
but I guess they chose not to.
Yeah,
so.
because I guess that really is Yubaba's baby.
Yeah. It's a
Wow.
big baby.
That was a big baby.
Yeah,
That must not have been fun to push out.
that's what I was thinking too.
My God. Because she's also, I mean, her
She's got a
head
big
is
head,
enormous.
but the rest of her's pretty small.
Yeah. Her head is probably proportionate to the rest of her body. Like, her head is one half of her, and her body is the other half of her.
Well, when you said proportionate, I was like,
No,
it's the
I
opposite.
meant that they're the same size.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
proportionate like human proportions.
Yeah.
Like 1-to-1
Yes,
ratio.
that's okay.
Yeah,
You,
it made
you got it.
sense. Yeah.
So then what?
Haku's dying.
He is.
And he eats the medicine from the spirit, from the river spirit. And he's fine again, which is great.
He's still gravely ill.
Yes.
As we found out. He spits out the seal. A little slug comes off, which I also thought I could have been the slug.
But you died.
I did die.
And you're not a curse.
Oh, thanks. Wouldn't you love to just be like a slug?
No.
Really?
No.
Okay.
I'm too cute to be a slug.
Slugs can be cute. I would be such a cute
I also
slug.
love salt too much.
Yeah, that's fair.
I would die.
Yeah.
My favorite thing would end up being my weakness.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that would be your good versus evil, I guess.
What?
You would have to, like, resist your salt.
Yeah, I'm not going to live that life.
Okay. Well, I think I could do it. I would just, like, live in a garden.
I mean, maybe if I was a slug, my taste would change.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want salt.
What do slugs eat? Probably not poop, but worms do.
Eat poop? Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like slugs probably eat, like, vegetable
droppings. We're going to get a lot of comments. People being,
what do slugs eat?
Vegetable droppings?
I don't know. The poop of vegetables.
Oh,
no, that's not what I meant. I meant like vegetables when they drop.
Yeah, vegetable droppings. Okay, so Haku's still gravely ill.
Yeah, and we're in the boiler room here, and this is where Kamaji references like the power of love or something like that. But again, it's not romantic love; it is just
like
love,
first love. You know?
Yeah. It's just love connection, like twin flame sort of thing. Like that's what I was getting. It wasn't to me romance. Like if this ended with a kiss, I would have been very confused.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
Childhood love, I think, is such a cute and innocent form of love. I really appreciated this story having love.
Yes.
And kind of just like it being
and
like,
it not being romantic. It just being love to be love. Yeah.
So Kamaji gives her some train tickets.
Yeah.
Which I was really upset about this because Lynn has always said that one day she's going to get out and she's going to take a train.
Yeah, I kind of wanted Lynn to come with.
Yeah, he had saved those tickets for 40 years, he said.
Oh, and he just gave them to this random girl.
And guess what? And she brings No Face, who up until that point was, evil.
Yeah.
She brings a mouse and a bird. She couldn't bring her bestie Lynn.
Yeah, I thought that Lynn should have come too. I thought that Lynn made sense.
And Lynn could have been a good worker for Zeniba, I think.
Yeah.
Which made me really sad.
Zeniba's whole situation seemed like a better place to be.
Yeah, but I still have mixed thoughts on her. So she does have to go save No Face. She gives him the other half.
Yes,
of that.
and then he's fine. He like spits everybody up.
He just barfs. He's barfing everywhere.
Barfing everybody up. So that's when Kelly is saved, which we did talk about, that Kelly gets saved. The little frog is fine.
Back to life.
Yeah, and then they go on their little adventure to Zeniba's.
What did you think of the train ride?
I didn't think anything of it.
Oh, I just
give me your thoughts.
It's a very long scene where we're just kind of like seeing the train passing. At one point you see like little neon signs passing.
Oh, I did. Yeah, like
it's
the world building a little bit. Yeah, I thought the world building was cool. I felt like it was pretty sinister up until this point, but now that you mentioned the train ride, I am thinking the train ride, I remember feeling like it was the first time. It did feel a little brighter and happier, like we were going to something better.
You know what it makes me think of? Do you ever watch those like lo-fi hip hop with the girl and she's just like flipping a page? I feel like it's like that kind of like I could just have that as a screensaver.
Also, was this the first time? It was somewhere in here was the first time we got her riding on Haku's back. And we got the little flash of like the water.
Yeah.
Which I noticed. I didn't miss that section. So I knew something was going to happen, but I didn't predict what was going to happen.
No way.
There's no way to predict that.
No, there's no hints. But I did want to mention the name of the stop that they had to go to. Where
Oh, tell me, what was it?
It was Swampbottom.
Swampbottom.
I'm shocked that you didn't get it. I thought you would have been like, that's the name.
Swampbottom?
That's where she lives.
Hilarious.
Yeah, Swampbottom.
I would not like to live in Swampbottom. Well, maybe.
So they get to Swampbottom.
And they go to Zeniba's house, who we think is going to be kind of evil. Chihiro is going there to sort of right the wrongs of Haku. She's going to return the seal. And she's like, Haku is so evil. I have to go fix all these things that Haku did. But when we get there, we're kind of assuming that Zeniba might be evil. But then she's like, oh, come on in. Like,
and call me Granny.
Call me Granny.
See, at this point, when I first watched this, I remember being very put off. And I was like, this is a trap. You're talking about like all these tests. I was like, this is a test.
Another test.
Yeah.
If this was a test, I fell for it.
I guess it's not.
Yeah, it wasn't a test.
But I'm like, wait, she was so mean to that baby. She was like, you got a little rat brain. You're dumb. I'm going to turn you into a mouse. Why is she being so mean to him for no reason?
Maybe she was putting on a front, like in front of her sister.
I mean, Lynn did that as well.
Yeah,
She's putting on that front, pretending to not want Chihiro to be in her her little circle.
Exactly, even though she wanted to be besties.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think there are a few things here and there that I maybe consider like small plot holes. And I think like this section is a big part of it. And I think No Face as well is like, what is No Face's purpose? I don't really like know what it is, but like I'm happy that he stayed with Zeniba. Like, live your life, bro.
Yeah. And that's also when we found out about the whole slug thing.
Yeah, so we got like the exposition dump and like a little bit of what was going on there. So it's like, as I sort of predicted in the beginning, things are not as they seem.
Yeah.
You know, you think some people are evil, others are good. This section sort of starts confirming things that, you know, Haku was under a spell.
Yeah, he couldn't help it.
Yeah, so it was the Shadow Daddy trope after all.
And then Haku comes to get her.
Oh yeah, dude. For some reason I thought Haku was with her this whole section. But you're right, Haku was not.
You know, there is actually one thing I wanted to ask you about. I don't even know if you really noticed it much, but they were making something while she was doing her exposition. Mm-hmm. And then she was like, I'm giving it to you. It's a hair tie.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Why?
Yeah. The only thing I could think of, this is what I thought at the end, was that when she went back to, she was wearing it. So it's like proof that it happened.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it had magic to help her identify her parents.
Oh, no. Well, she didn't even identify them.
Yeah, which
that
was another thing.
Stupid thing. Like the end was a little silly where she's like, it's none of them.
That was silly.
Yeah. But it's a kid's movie. Like it doesn't have to be that deep.
First, let's talk about the reveal of Haku, who he is.
Okay, so this was actually crazy because I was writing in my notes, maybe Haku saved her in a river and then... I did predict it. The second flash, I was like, I bet he saved her in a river. I didn't get the whole thing, but I did write river. I did write river, and I was pretty impressed with myself on that. Yeah. But I was very emotional and happy about that reveal. I thought it was, I was like, oh my God, he is the river. Because, you know, he forgot his name. Basically what was happening to Chihiro and what he was helping not happen to her, because he knew he forgot his name and he forgot his identity, and he was helping her not do that. There was a point in the movie, I can't remember if it was this section or the last section, where he said, your name is Chihiro. Yeah. Remember that. And he wrote it down for her, or he gave her the card. Gave her the
card, yeah.
So that like his fate wouldn't be her fate. And he was all doing this just because he had this inkling that they'd met before, but he didn't know. Yeah. And neither one of them knew.
Now let me ask you a question. Yeah. He saved her life, right? She almost died. Mm-hmm. Is that why she is more connected to the spirit world?
Probably, I would say. I think if you've been touched by a spirit, then like, you're probably closer to the spirit world.
Yeah, it just made me wonder. But it doesn't come up.
But it doesn't come up. But I mean, these are good questions to ask. And it's probably another reason, I mean, why she trusted Haku so implicitly. Like is that the word?
Yeah, implicitly. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And I think
English.
I'm a nerd, so I know these words.
I know these words.
Like she subconsciously knew that he was someone that she could trust, even though he was acting evil. And there was even that one point where she was like, are there two Hakus?
She just trusted him, and it was because they knew each other even though they didn't. So it did explain a lot, I would say.
Yeah, I think subconsciously, like she knew that he was a person that she could trust because he had saved her life.
And when she was a bebe. Something I thought was funny though, when they had the big reveal that he was the Kohaku River, he's like, that's my name, the Kohaku River. And she's like smiling, a huge smile on her face. It's all apartments now. I was like, bro, can you be like a little less happy?
You're dead.
But I think that showed her connection to the spirit world. Yeah. Her connection to nature, which I think is really important. Yeah. And again, just showed, I don't know, her goodness.
I think that's an interesting reveal. I could not have guessed any of it.
No.
I'm shocked that you...
I did guess it was a river.
When they were showing, the first time I watched it, I remember when they were showing those flashbacks, I just thought it was the same in that moment.
Oh no, I definitely was getting that it was some sort of muscle memory. Yeah. And she was having these flashes, but I didn't know. Part of me thought, is this the future? Something, I didn't know what it was. It was the first time I had no idea, but the second time was me thinking that he saved her in a river.
Yeah. So he remembered his name and the slug was removed from him. So Yubaba,
he's free.
Yeah, doesn't have power.
He can do whatever he wants.
Yes.
But Yubaba still reigns in the spirit world.
Yes, she does. And she still gets to test Chihiro. She wants to...
yeah. We talked about the test already, that it's kind of stupid.
It is dumb.
I don't know. Because I was just thinking, I mean, there's no way she's going to know, first of all, who her parents are.
That's why I was like, maybe it's the hair tie. I don't know.
Yeah. But maybe, again, you know, we're saying how she has got this connection to Haku
Yeah.
because they've met before. Maybe it's the same sort of pull to her parents where she doesn't feel it there. So she says that they must not be there. I don't know. There was a more interesting way to do that.
When she first went to see her parents, she knew which ones they were.
Yeah.
And then when she sees them a second time, it turns out to be a dream where she doesn't recognize which one they are. So we have never seen her not recognize her parents.
Right.
So maybe she just knows what they look like when they're pigs. I don't know.
Yeah. I just feel like it has to do with her being able to sense the way that she sensed Haku.
Yeah.
It's got to be something like that. I don't know. I think like a little bit more explanation of that would have been nice.
For kids, they don't care.
Yeah. But yeah, in the end, it almost felt like Yubaba got not redeemed, but she didn't really have any consequences.
No. Although her kid kind of grew up a little bit without her, which she was not too upset about. Yeah, she didn't really care.
It's fine. She wasn't paying attention to him anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Chihiro and her family,
they're fine. They're happy. And
they go back to the car.
Okay, but it's all overgrown.
Yeah.
So I'm like, where's the sequel? How long have they been gone?
Also, what about the movers? They were trying to meet the movers.
Oh, the movers are gone.
What is all their stuff?
Gone.
I would be freaking out.
I mean, years is what I assumed. Months, maybe months. How long does grass grow?
I don't know. I thought it was an exaggeration because I was thinking it was like days because she only had a few days.
No,
where she was
dude,
sleeping.
because when they pulled up, it was a paved road.
Yeah.
And when they came back, it was like grass had grown.
Yeah.
So how much time had passed?
I don't know.
Their life is their stuff is gone.
That's upsetting.
Auctioned
That upsets
away.
me.
Yeah. They have no
As a
stuff.
person, remember when I moved here, they lost my stuff.
Yeah, that is true. That did happen to you.
I was freaking out. It was only lost for like a day.
Someone's probably living in their house.
Yeah. They auctioned it off.
Maybe they have to go back to the spirit world.
That's what I thought was interesting because like Chihiro and Haku had this incredible bond. They're from different worlds.
I hated that she had to leave him.
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, so they did it to, they had to part ways. They had to part ways.
Because, I mean, his river doesn't, there's just apartments now.
But she can have her little dragon flying around. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
So that is the end of the movie. That's it.
Also, her parents didn't remember anything.
They didn't remember anything. They thought it had been seconds.
Yeah. They're going to be real shocked. They're going to be real shocked when they show up to their house.
I have some questions for you.
I'll think about answering them.
I think we should ask these questions at the end of every movie.
I'm happy with that.
Okay. Would you like me? Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Damn, there's 7. That's a lot.
7's good. Deadly sins. 7 deadly questions.
Okay, so what's sin number 1? Just kidding. Number 1, who was your favorite and or most interesting character?
My favorite and or most interesting character. I really loved No Face, even though I didn't understand him. But she's like kind of a boring character because she doesn't do much. But I feel like Lynn was my favorite character.
That's fine.
I liked Lynn. I liked the older sister vibes.
Yeah.
You know, I like that she was just kind of like doing her thing.
Taking care of her and also just doing her job, you know?
So I did like Lynn a lot.
I think as far as favorite character goes, most interesting, I think is No Face as well.
Yeah.
I think he was just the most intriguing, and I can see why people really latched onto him and why there's so much like No Face stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's so intriguing.
Yeah,
I was saying, like he has this capability of being super evil.
Yeah,
which is
but
cool.
I just think he's like really misunderstood, and I'm hoping that he just finds his place.
Yeah.
Where he is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which he will. So that brings us to question number 2. Who is your least favorite character and or the least interesting?
Oh, the bird. The bird at the beginning.
Leah has a fear of birds.
Oh God, I hated it. The bird, I liked it better when it didn't look like Yubaba, but I said it as soon as I saw it, the first reveal of the little scouting bird, least favorite character. Hated it. Scary. Birds are the worst.
I do have another fun fact.
Tell me.
Of my least favorite character, who was the foreman, the guy who wouldn't give Chihiro the bath tokens. He was like being rude.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't believe who that voice actor is.
Who?
It's Squidward.
A Squidward?
Yeah.
Oh my
isn't that funny?
gosh.
He's probably my least favorite. You know, one thing that bothered me, the frogmen who were like bigger frogmen, they were like kind of humanoid frogs.
Yeah.
I didn't like that they were called frogs. I wanted to be the little frog, but
be a frog.
Yeah. Like I want to be a frog, but I don't want to be one of them.
You want to be a small frog, yeah.
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 Okay.
Oh, also
Next.
Radish Spirit.
Oh, yeah.
Did not like him.
Awful.
Oh God, he was horrible. Him and
Okay.
his big nipple. No. Which I'm all for free the nipple, just not.
It was like a radish
Not
nipple.
that nipple.
It was an off-putting type of nipple. Okay, now, who is Leah and who is Kelly?
Okay, so I said this in the other episode, and I felt this way too throughout it, that when I was writing about Chihiro. I was writing
you're 100% Chihiro.
And I think it's not even just me being Chihiro. I feel like a lot of young people watching this film would identify with her. And this is why representation matters. I mean, I'm sure you've seen this video when the Little Mermaid trailer came out and there was like all the little girls seeing Halle Bailey as the Little Mermaid. And they're like, look, Mom, it's me. And I mean, for me, obviously, I'm a person who sees myself represented quite often.
Yeah, we don't struggle for that.
We don't struggle for that. But a lot of people don't have that same experience. But I think this movie for me is a great reason as to why I'm so happy that more young girls are getting to see themselves represented.
Yeah, I think I'm the frog.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, wait, are you giving me this gold?
Are you giving me this gold? Is this from me?
I just love the way that he says it. Like, he knows this guy can't talk. So he's like, is this for me?
For me.
So yeah, I'm that frog. And also, he was in the beginning when he like runs up to Haku. He's the reason that Chihiro like takes a breath on the bridge.
Yes.
Like, blah, blah, blah. And he has like nothing important to say, but he's just like, that's me.
Yes. Wait, I wanted to go back and talk more about Chihiro though. As a young person and the media that I consumed.
You're old. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, as a child, when I was a child.
Well, I actually hate that like the internet thinks and media in general.
Yeah, we're not old in our 30s. Talk to me when I'm 60. I'll probably still be like, I'm spry. I'm a spry
Age
chicken.
Is just a number, baby.
Age is a feeling. But when I was a child, I've said this to you before, so I'm curious if you remember, because what you said to me, how you responded to this, I felt was really interesting. But I said when I was a young person, I very often identified with the male leads of a lot of media. And I mean, there's a gender question to be had here, but what you said to me that I thought was really interesting was that male characters are written better than female characters. And that's why, because when you're watching a male character, you're seeing this well-rounded person with, you know, thoughts and feelings. And a lot of times women are just one-dimensional. Yeah. And I think with this one, it's interesting because like a Haku character is someone that I actually would really identify a lot in media. But because he was next to such a well-rounded girl, I identified with her. And I thought that was cool.
Pretty sure Chihiro was actually based off of a real kid. I think it was the filmmaker's daughter's friend.
Cute.
So,
well, I liked her and I liked that she was well-rounded. So yeah, I think I was Chihiro for sure.
Yeah, it's nice to see a main character who is female, whose primary motivation isn't romance.
That too, yeah. Because again, I don't think that there was romantic love in this movie. Second character I'd probably be in like 100 years would be Zeniba. In that house.
I guess.
I love it. Like a scary old witch in the woods.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah, I can see that being you. Next question. What does the film make you feel? What feeling did you get from it?
I felt a lot of wonderment for sure. A lot of that like childhood wonderment. It felt very magical.
Yeah.
Definitely some ominous feelings. Like I said, in the first half of the film, the eating stuff was like that really uncomfortable, gross feeling.
It really just gave me like such a nostalgia. The first time I watched it, I was like, this is so nostalgic for me. Like it evoked all of these childhood feelings.
Yeah.
So I really like that.
Yeah. And I'm also like a really big Alice in Wonderland fan. So because it was super similar to that in like the world building of her, you know, she kind of falls down the rabbit hole. It's very similar. Yeah. I think that nostalgia was there. And then also like knowing what the characters looked like and finally getting context for who they are was really cool.
Yeah, that is fun. I really want to point out the quiet moments of the film. Like there were a lot of moments, like even just them walking through that abandoned theme park or when they're on the train. Like there are these like beautiful quiet moments where there's very little animation.
Yeah.
And I think there's something very comforting about that. Even in a movie where there's a lot of ominous stuff, it's just a comfort movie. It's a movie that you can come back to when you're like, the world is a scary place. I just want to sit in my bed
and watch
Spirited Away.
Yeah.
Next question. What would you rate it from 1 to 10?
Ooh, a 1 to 10. I'm bad. See, ratings are hard for me. This might be a question that I have a hard time with because I think rating things on a scale,
because it's always different.
The criteria is always really different. For me, it's usually like a yes or no kind of thing, like pass fail.
Should we change it to would you watch it again?
Oh yeah, I would watch it again.
So then we'll say that.
Yeah, the rating is hard for me. This all stemmed once I went on a hike. I'm a big hiker, love hiking. I've done a lot of treks. Yeah,
I hate it.
I did this incredible trek in Machu Picchu. I've done really great treks in California that has a lot of great mountains. And I went to upstate New York with some friends. We went on this like 3-mile hike, which isn't a lot for me. It was, and it was a nice area.
It sounds like a lot. I don't know.
Yeah. And I just remember like throughout the hike, I was like, nah, not one of the best. I'd probably rate this one pretty low. And I'm just saying this in my head. But one of my friends had never hiked before. It was his first hike ever. And when we got to the big viewpoint at the top, he was floored, blown away, like had never seen. And it really changed my perspective. And I'm like, why am I saying that this beautiful place I've seen isn't as good as this other beautiful place that I've seen? They're both beautiful in their own way. It changed my opinion on like rating things.
Yeah, but also, I mean, I think that there are so many different types of movies. Like if we're obviously going to be watching The Matrix next, is that going to be rated on the same criteria as Spirited Away?
Yeah, because they're completely different movies.
I was just thinking, you know, I used to be very obsessive about keeping my IMDb account, like with my ratings.
Yeah, you're a big rater person.
Lost my password. Very upset about it still.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, I've been boycotting rating things. But yeah, like I remember a lot of my ratings still. But like, so The Emperor's New Groove, one of my favorite movies, loved it.
10
Gave
out
it
of
a
10.
10. Yeah. Then I'm thinking like Blue Velvet. I give that a 9. So like,
totally.
like is Blue Velvet worse than The Emperor's New Groove?
No.
Realistically, but which one would I rather watch at any given moment?
Emperor's New Groove.
The Emperor's New Groove. Yeah. So it's hard. So I guess we'll just say,
would you watch it again? I would watch it again. Yeah. And I'd recommend it. I feel like this would be a cute date movie if you're just like
very cute.
You know, playing around with someone.
I think I mentioned it was
one of the
first dates that Ryan and I had, and it was a very cute. And I'd like to watch it again with him because now I feel like we could goof around a lot more. Yeah. And be like, there's you.
Yeah, I wonder Ryan. He's another nondescript character.
He's the little sludge monster.
Yeah,
who's just like, bleh.
The river spirit.
Yeah. Last question. Is it geeky?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just think the visuals of this movie are so prevalent at conventions. Yeah. I'm seeing these characters all the time. I see the no face tattoo all the time.
See, but I would say no, I don't think it's geeky. I think it's very popular, and I think it's like, but that's the other thing. I was thinking about this in the shower yesterday.
What are the criteria of what's geeky?
When we were kids, being a geek or being a nerd was such a bad thing. Everybody was like, you don't want to be that. Now it's like cool to be.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I used to pretend I didn't watch anime. I used to like pretend I didn't watch it, and I'd like make fun of people that did. I'd be like, do you watch anime, you loser? It's like
I didn't watch anime, and I was a loser.
Yeah, but I did, so I was
You were
fake.
pretty cool though in school. People thought you were cool.
What?
You used to go to parties and stuff. Yes.
Going to parties does not make you cool.
I didn't get invited to parties, Leah.
Okay, I did get. So this was actually an interesting revelation. I felt like I was quote unquote popular in the sense that people knew who I was because I was in the plays, and people had to see the plays. It was always a credit thing for your English class that you had to go see the plays. So people knew me because of that.
Oh.
Does being in plays make you cool? Popular, meaning people knew me. Yes. Yeah. Cool. I don't know about that. But I did go to my 10-year high school reunion. Totally recommend it if you want to goof on yourself a little bit.
I didn't go.
I had fun.
Hell no.
I'm still friends with a lot of people from high school, so it was a little easier. But I was like, listen.
That's how I know I'm truly a nerd. Because I didn't even have any friends in high school. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I would like eat lunch at my locker by myself.
Lunch was always a stressful time for me, but I always worked it out. Yeah. So at the high school reunion, though, I was chatting with someone who I considered to be a very popular person in our high school. And he was like, you were way more popular than I was. And I was like, there's no way. So it's interesting your perception of yourself versus who you actually are.
I know I was a loser. I know it.
I don't think I was the loserest loser.
I wasn't the loserest.
But I think the loserest losers are probably the coolest people.
Now?
Yeah.
I haven't thought about my high school people in a while.
Oh, I think about them daily. No, I'm kidding. Not that much.
But I mean, I didn't peak in high school, that's for sure.
I definitely didn't peak. I'm still waiting. Yeah. It's only up from here, baby.
I haven't even reached my final form.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So
not a Charizard yet.
Spirited Away.
That is Spirited Away.
We have been Spirited Away, and now we're back.
Yeah, and I liked it, and I would watch it again. And it was really cool, me experiencing a movie that you've seen.
Yeah, it was so fun to be at the expert. Yeah. I want to do it again.
I am sorry that I ruined your fun facts in last episode.
I'm so upset, but you know what? I got a couple. I got the Squidward fun fact.
Yes, and Tara Strong.
Shocked that you didn't know
see, with
that
her,
one.
but she does voices. I don't know.
Yeah, but there was one line that the baby says that it was like so, like I wouldn't have known if it wasn't for that one line.
Yeah.
Like he was like, I'm gonna cry, and he did like the voice.
Yeah.
The like,
but it's probably because it was the baby. I like wasn't paying attention to.
Yeah,
the baby just like icked me.
Grossed out.
That baby.
But yeah. Okay, so we'll be back next week.
Tuesday with The Matrix, another movie that I am obsessed with,
and I'm not the expert,
and Kelly's not the expert, and I'm really excited to hear your thoughts on.
I'm curious because I know that there's a lot of pop culture references.
Oh yeah,
that
so
come
like
from
what
it,
you'll
but I don't
recognize.
know. Yeah, I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Well, until next week, stay geeky. Bye.
I need to stop doing it, but like now I can't.
I have to.
It's like ironic, but now it's becoming real.
It's your thing now, yeah.
Okay, bye.